The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Teeth and more bones were found on Saturday in a cane field at Reforms as the search for missing mother Kadijah Flament continued. Homicide Superintendent Dilpole and forensic pathologist Gajdar went to Reform Road near the Brian Lara Stadium around 9 a.m. where they found the teeth and bones. Officers said the particles were found in the same burnt clearing where skeletal remains were found last week. Officers said they will peruse dental records and do DNA testing to determine whether they belong to Flament. Officers of the Air Support Unit have been assisting homicide officers in the search for Flament. On Friday, the main suspect, who is in quarantine, was sent for medical attention after she stripped herself naked and began screaming from her apartment at Olera Heights, San Fernando. Neighbors said she was threatening to jump. On June 7, Kadijah Flament left her Lothians Road Princesstown home to visit her daughter at Olera Heights. She never returned home. It is believed that she was stabbed to death, her body placed inside a barrel, and then dumped. She has a 9-year-old daughter who is now in the custody of the state. Suspect in Kadijah Flament's disappearance being evaluated at St. Anne's Hospital. The female suspect held in connection with the disappearance of Princesstown resident Kadijah Flament is now being treated at the St. Anne Psychiatric Hospital. This follows an incident on Friday captured on video that has been circulated on social media where the woman was seen acting erratic and stripped herself naked. The woman had been in COVID-19 quarantine under police guard at her home when her actions were recorded by persons nearby, who subsequently posted videos and photos on social media. After the incident, police were instructed to move her to St. Anne's for observation. An ambulance subsequently took her to the San Fernando General Hospital, where she was transferred to the St. Anne's Hospital. Yesterday, while most people were spending Father's Day with their families at home due to the state of emergency curfew restrictions, relatives and volunteers were combing the bushes and abandoned structures for Kadijah Flament. A search party of over 40 people, including members of the Hunters Search and Rescue Team and Search and Rescue T&T, searched a wide area at Reform Road from Brian Lara Stadium to Palmyra. Hunters Search and Rescue Team's Valence Rambarat said they stayed away from the area where the police were searching. The family just want closure. They're waiting for that report from the police, but in the meantime, they're continuing to search. They said the police did not communicate with them with respect to that find, Rambarat said. Despite doing foot and mobile patrols and aerial searches with drones, the search groups turned up empty-handed. The search groups also did searches at isolated and bushy areas in St. Madeleine, Princesstown, and Davie on Thursday. Rambarat said they will be halting their search efforts for now. Officers from the Homicide Bureau and Air Surveillance Unit have been searching the Reform Road area near the Brian Lara Stadium in Tarouba for Flament, and last Thursday and on Saturday found human bones in a burnt clearing where rubbish is dumped. However, investigators will have to rely on dental records, if any exist, and DNA testing to identify the remains found. Kadijah Flament, 24, went missing on June 7 after she left home to visit her daughter, who was staying with a friend. Investigations are continuing. A former United National Congress general election candidate is now said to be assisting police in their investigations after he was arrested for allegedly shooting at his common-law wife during a domestic dispute. According to a police report, at about 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, the couple was at Fairley Street in Tunapuna when a domestic dispute broke out. The 42-year-old woman later told police that as a result of the dispute, her common-law husband, a UWI lecturer and former MP candidate, pulled out his licensed firearm, pointed it in her direction, and fired a shot. Based on that information, WPC Yates visited the suspect and told him of the report made, cautioned him, and requested that he hand over the firearm and ammunition. The man, police said, complied with the officer's instructions and was arrested as a result of instructions received and taken to the Tuna Puna police station. Statements were recorded, and this, along with a firearm, ammunition, and FUL card, was handed over to PC Payne of the gender-based unit to continue inquiries. The scene was visited by the Northern Division CSI, where one spent shell and projectile were recovered. Commissioner of Police and Family received 28 threats during his tenure. Family is a priority, says Police Commissioner Gary Griffith, who's still finalizing his decision to apply for the Commissioner of Police job ahead, particularly since he and his family have received 28 threats on their lives in his 3-year tour of duty. 28 threats against myself, my wife, and my 3 children, most of the threats targeting me, Griffith said yesterday. The threats arose from his fight against criminal elements. Intelligence agency documents have stated that the figure is the highest record of such threats against people in public office and was rated as the highest risk. Griffith spoke about his position as he confirmed he was finalizing his decision on whether to pursue a second term in office. Griffith's contract period ends on August 18. Last Sunday's hint that he might return was received warmly by many groups. A legal notice last Thursday advised of the Police Service Commission selection process order for a COP and deputy. Government officials yesterday confirmed the order will be tabled in the House of Representatives, which meets on Wednesday, but no debate is required to bring it into effect, since it's been effected since last Thursday. They stated that the PSC isn't required to wait until the order is laid in Parliament, which is a simple 1-minute procedure. Later in the process, detailed by the PSC's order, a list of nominees will be sent to the President. Parliamentary debate on the matter will follow later on. Griffith said yesterday, "I've accomplished all that I need to do. I've served my country in different capacities to the best of my ability, handling threats to my life from criminals, health matters, and marathon days." He's, however, concerned about his position's impact on his children. For instance, my son's now started his career path in football. If because those who hate me continue making my son a target instead of directing concerns to me, this will be taken into consideration. My son's future shouldn't be affected because of who his father is. My children, including my daughter, have suffered and been targeted by those who obviously have jealousy agendas and are diametrically opposed to decisions I take for TNT's good. My children shouldn't have to suffer because of how I try to serve my country. He added, "It's an honor to serve my country, and it'll be an honor to continue serving my country and citizens. But I do need to speak to my family carefully to balance whether this sacrifice I will make will affect their career path and security." That family discussion will be out soon, however, since the legal notice is out. If I have to go forward to serve my country and fellow citizens, I must ensure my wife and children are safe. I can handle anything directed at me, including my health. But when it comes to my wife and children, that's a different issue, which is why my family and I will consider the matter before further formal word, he said. Griffith has consistently received good reviews from the PSC, but legal sources said he's apparently made enemies after cutting the TTPS overtime bill from $65 million annually, pursuing gang activity, white-collar crime, and human trafficking. They noted inroads into certain areas cost gang businesses heavily. It was confirmed that criminally directed threats against the family over the years involved contract money in the range of 6 to 7 figures. State of emergency exercises results in multiple arrests, including a suspended cop and a gang leader. Several people, including a police officer currently on suspension, were arrested by police for various offenses in several Operation Strikeback exercises on Saturday in Central, El Socorro, and Carenage. In the Central Division, an exercise was conducted by the Central Division Gang Unit and Central Division Task Force Area North at the homes of several priority offenders, and several arrests between the hours of 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Police said a 30-year-old man of Chrissy Terrace South Enterprise, who was described by police as a gang leader, was arrested for possession of firearm, possession of ammunition, and possession of marijuana. Other arrests included a 38-year-old of Tobago Road, Lendore Village for possession of marijuana, a 41-year-old of Tobago Road, Lendore Village on outstanding warrants, a 33-year-old of Freedom Street Enterprise on robbery-related matters, a 19-year-old of Freedom Street Enterprise on robbery-related matters. A 36-year-old police officer currently on suspension of Barrett Street Enterprise, Chiguanas, on outstanding warrants, a 28-year-old man of Jackman Trace, Esmeralda Road, Cunupia, on outstanding warrants, a 46-year-old of Ramcharita Road, Welcome Road, Cunupia, on outstanding warrants, a 66-year-old of Uriah Butler Highway, Charleville, for housebreaking and larceny. In another exercise, officers went to El Socorro Extension Road No. 1, San Juan, where they searched several bushy areas along a riverbank and found a plastic bag hidden under a heap of grass. The bag, police said, contained a 12-gauge Remington 870 Magnum shotgun. No one was arrested. In Carenage at about 2:30 p.m., the Carenage Criminal Investigations Department, officers from the Carenage Police Station, Western Division Task Force, K-9 Unit, and Chiguamas Development Authority officers conducted an exercise where several warrants were executed and several people were detained. Among the detained was a 22-year-old man of Samora Park Extension, Carenage, on a warrant for malicious wounding, a man of Western Main Road, Carenage, for possession of narcotics, and a 56-year-old of Francois Street for willful obstruction of a police officer in the execution of his duty.
So I want to tell all my friends out here, be careful of people that come in to say they sanitize in your place if somebody's sick in your place. Because my daughter, her mother, her aunt, and her caretaker, all of them now get robbed. Right? All of them now get robbed from 3 fellas saying they come to sanitize the place and whatever, and they had sanitized suit and everything, and they now put a gun to my grandson's head, and my daughter get raped. She go in the hospital and I want to take my grandson. Well, you be careful.